if you started off as an actor and a model, I can imagine it was always about how you looked and having the physique and being like macho man, for instance. Like how did that play into your early career, for example? And then as you took on the hosting and wanted to be this genuine, charismatic, what I would consider like a big fluffy teddy bear type Cameron Mathison that we see, how did masculinity play into that entire journey?
Well, I think the teddy bear version of myself is the most authentic. So thank
Yeah.
you. I at least I hope so. I
It
hope
is.
so. But I, so I'm going to rewind a little bit. When I was a kid, when I was 2.5 years old, I got diagnosed with a disease in my femur bones called Leg-Perthes disease, leg calf Perthes disease. And it's a degenerative bone disease that I wasn't able to walk until I was 7. So I got put in this very wide A-frame brace. People say it's like Forrest Gump, but Forrest Gump could move his legs in that brace. So I picture a rigid A-frame truss like on my legs, a crutch in back and a crutch in front, and I would have to pick myself up on my crutches and swing this A-frame leg brace along. And so for 4 years, night and day, I wore it. It never came off. And the reason I'm saying that is I started to develop a real kind of identity with being, this is not a PC term, but this is the label I slapped on myself, as being the crippled kid in many ways. And so I think that sort of buried identity underneath a lot was part of what really drove me to be so active and athletic and
Mm,
all that kind of stuff. Like I really kind of went to the other side of the spectrum in that, and that macho side of things, of being the basketball star and the guy who gets the girls or whatever. And then even going into modeling and acting, that
yeah.
fed that void of the lack of what I believed is masculinity, this crippled kid trying to prove myself, being validated out there. And I think I know as time went on, it's a big mistake. And it was ended up being very, very painful because it's very fragile, delicate, like to place your masculinity or your self-worth on all of these outside kind of validations or attainments, or the way I look, or the way how many girls kind of look at me, or whatever, all that. It's very fragile, and it's of course like it's like a house of cards. It's going to fall down. It's not going to
Mm,
work. You're not going to it's not true. You're not filling your soul that way. It's like a temporary band-aid over a bullet wound. And so ultimately, as time went on, I realized that to be truly authentic and to embrace my true self was the most kind of masculine that I could be. And that's very emotional. And I
yeah.
mean, I'm not afraid to cry in front of my kids, in front of my family, on Home and Family, the show on Hallmark that I co-hosted. I would cry all the time. And it was like, I feel like even working at Hallmark, doing all these Hallmark movies and being part of this family has allowed me to express what I think truly is masculinity. And that is just to be authentic, to be who you are. I mean, you
Hmm.
don't have to be the big tough guy on the soap opera like I was for all those years, with the, seemingly perfect body,
Right.
who gets all the girls. I mean, that is not, in my opinion, experience of masculinity. I feel like it's being kind, being emotional, being authentic, being
Mm.
respectful, certainly respectful to women, and that has made me much more um, at ease, at
Mm.
peace, and that allowed me to be a better dad, a better husband, a better host and actor.